tea and it's hot like steam. Brutsy and Kitty, we're here to play. Life and gossip every single day. Laugh a little louder, who needs control? It's the Brutsy and Kitty show.
From trending news to the tales untold, spinning the wheel, let the stories unfold. Catch us in the vibe where the chatter grows, with a pair that keeps you on your toes. What's the buzz? What's the word? Spill it fast, haven't you heard?
Brutsy and Kitty, we're here to play. Life and gossip every single day. Laugh a little louder, who needs control? It's the Brutsy and Kitty show.
Truth or dare, we're taking the leap. Stories that'll make you laugh or weep. Tune in.
Good afternoon, good people. You're watching Brutsy and Kitty show today. The live calling show today, guys. Hot topic of the day is pros and cons of being a stepdad. We are hearing some. I don't know how to take it. So it's obviously based on stats that we're hearing. We're hearing a lot of stats, like, you know, the dangers of stepdads coming into the family, and, you know, often, you know, being the main protagonist of you know, abuse and stuff. Your child 50 times more likely to be a victim of abuse if the biological dad isn't in the house. Let's just start with being a stepdad, pros and cons. Where are you with it?
Me, I think it's, as a woman, bringing a man into your home is a very, very scary situation. And it's, you know, this is a man that, okay, you may love, but unfortunately, is there ever going to be that bond between the children and the dad? And is he safe? And I think that is a big sort of scary situation. It's a big deal for a mum. It really is, bringing that person into your home, allowing them near your children. It's not something that I would take lightly, because I have been sort of burnt by that. Yeah. So I can understand these women that, like, 2 weeks into a relationship, or literally after the first night, they've introduced their children, and the bloke's living in the house. And, you know, when you hear these stories and you're like, what?
Yeah.
I am so sorry. There is a knock at my door. Live TV.
No problem. Live TV, guys. This happens. People knock on your door at unexpected times. It's unfortunate that.
The fun explode. This is your stop. It's the Brutsy code.
See and Giddy got a show to glow. Life stories wild like a late night dream. We're spilling the tea and it's hot like steam. Brutsy and Kitty, we're here to play. Life and gossip every single day. Laugh a little louder, who needs control? It's the Brutsy.
And Kitty is back. Anything good come in the post?
Drink. No, listen, I can't understand these parents that do that. And I'm not just talking about, I'm talking about stepmoms as well. You know, like bringing a child, just this new parent all of a sudden, and also making those rules. Who's in charge? You know, like if you're out with that child and they do something, is it your place to sort of pull them back? So there's all sorts of rules and intricate details, but obviously the biggest thing is the fact you could be putting your child in danger. And how stop that? How do you spot the red flags?
Well,
go on, sorry.
No, go.
I was just saying, and a lot of men don't want to do it these days either.
I mean, that's literally where I was gonna go. There are videos blowing up all over social media showing the dangers and showing the stats that, you know, when a stepdad comes in, that, you know, there's like, you know, I think it's like 17%. I think, don't forgive me for the stats aren't 100%, but I think it's about 17% of children are abused by a stepdad. Like, you know, just hearing that stat alone as a woman, and then hearing it as a man, thinking, Jesus, like, you know, do I even want to? Because it's quite a big thing to even decide, I imagine, to go with a woman that's got previous kids as well, sort of, there's a whole load of arguments to go in there with it. But when I'm hearing all these stats about abusive stepdads and stuff like that, violent stepdads, for sure there's a lot of good guys out there, and I want to believe that there's more good than bad out there. But it's very worrying when you start hearing the stats, like 17% of children that are going to be abused by a stepdad, and all sorts of other stats that come in underneath it. I mean, just hearing that, I mean, Jesus, what does that say to people?
One of the things you and I have always talked about is when it comes to grooming, it's always somebody you know, and it's always somebody that you have come to rely on, someone that is very close to the family. Most of the times this is what they say. It's, you wouldn't have believed who it was because it was such and such, and he was this or they were this.
Yep.
So you and I have said a couple of times, there's a book out there that we want to get hold of, and if anybody knows how to get hold of it without us going into our browsers, please let us know. And it's basically the Groomer's Handbook. And one of the things that it says in this book is to go for single mums, because they are susceptible, and they, you can groom the child from within. This is what stepdaddies do. This is what, and that is so scary. But then, like you say, on the other side, what man wants to have to jump through these hoops and could be accused of it by a child that is going through something somewhere else or whatever, and have to deal with that as well. It's a very scary situation. But I do know that there are a lot of men these days, and especially with this toxic masculinity that seems to be coming in, I don't touch used goods as well. That's their attitude.
Yep.
If a man's been there and he's planted his seed, I don't want anything to do with it, which I think is...
Let's go with that. Let's go with that a minute, because today the show is pros and cons. Let's start with I normally start with the pros, but you kind of mentioned the cons straight away. Let's start with the cons. What are the negative connotations with someone maybe considering dating a woman that's got kids already? What would you say?
For a man, it's, you haven't got that freedom. So you can't just get up and go on a date. You can't just let's go on holiday just as two. There's the children are part of the deal. There's that consideration, isn't there? There's no let's just go shopping. No, I've got to get the kids ready. I've got to do that. Is part of the deal. That is part of what you signed up for. And eventually, if you are in this for the long term, they are going to become your responsibility, because they're going to live with you no matter what. Because most of the time, as we know, the children live with their mum. 9 times out of 10, live with.
We've lost Kitty. She's probably got a bad battery or something going on. We're talking about pros and cons of being a stepdad, guys. We will wait for the lovely Kitty to rejoin us, and then we'll come back to her. I'll hold the show on my own for a minute. Pros and cons of being a stepdad. I want to hear from people out there as well. So if you're a stepdad and you've done the job successfully, I'd like to hear from you. And maybe even if you've maybe had a negative experience with it, the biggest ones that I hear normally when it comes to the cons of being a stepdad is obviously not being able to discipline, not feeling like you have authority to discipline the child. And that's obviously, as a man and a man in the house, if you want to see something just will, you will want to put your foot down and say, no, that's not right. Sort of be the disciplinary in the house. But I suppose when you're a stepdad, you don't necessarily have that sort of authority, which can be tough as a guy, I imagine. We do have a video. Let's go to a video really quickly and see what we have.
I've got 2 kids, and I don't like it when someone says that I'm less value than a person that doesn't have children.
I think value is the wrong word. A man taking on women who has kids is different than a woman taking on a man who has kids. Yeah.
But I don't feel like it's for them to parent your children. I've got 2 kids.
See, that would be a problem. I think that's where a problem is with a woman saying that, she's got 2 kids and she doesn't feel like the stepdad should be disciplining them children. And if you obviously, it's a touchy subject, disciplining people's children and stuff if you're a stepdad, but and I don't know what the time. See, it's all very difficult because it's like a time-based thing as well. You can't just sort of go in there and say, let's see what we got here. Hey, hey, hey. I can talk on this topic as I am a single mum. I'm worried about being with someone, introducing them to my kids, then the relationship ending after that. I mean, yeah, Chloe. I mean, that sounds very scary, to be honest with you. Very, very scary. Um, and how do we and as well, Chloe, when you hear that, I'm sorry, I'm speaking to someone that's obviously like going through this process now. Um, what about if you're hearing all these stats 17% of children admit to being abused by a stepdad and stuff like that. I mean, that must be even more sort of scary. And there's so many crazy dudes out there nowadays as well. And it's to find a nice guy out there, and then some people will say on the opposite side. So I think my co-host is just struggling a little bit. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Let's see what she's got going on. Did her phone battery die? Let's see. What happened? 40. Yep. Hey, you in? You in? I can't see you. Let me just. Sorry, my co-host has just died, guys. I'm just trying to find her back again. You okay? I can't see her, so she's not here. She's not here. So how do you juggle with this, Chloe? How do you juggle with it? All the pros and cons. Obviously, I imagine, and I do want to imagine that there's lovely men out there, and there are men out there that just want, just generally, just a lot. No, you generally just want to start a family or something. But then there's a lot going on. You disappeared. I'm still here. Um, come back. I'm still live, I believe, guys. I'm still live, aren't I? I'm still live. Let's see if she's appeared in here. No, she's not here yet. She'll be in here. Yeah, it's worrying and scary. Like I say, there isn't many men out here as well that are willing to be with a woman already having children, because that's like a lack of freedom that comes. Yeah, and yeah, I mean that's the challenge, really, isn't it? And I don't think you can expect women to sort of like say, what, I'm going to be by myself forever. That's not. I don't think that's ideal. But obviously, I think what's the time period like for that? Like, do you wait? How long do you wait before you introduce your kids? What's the right time? How long do you wait before you introduce them to some? Okie dokie. Replace.
But
I'm just wondering whether your internet connection's okay, because it says that it's running a bit low at the minute. Are you connected to Wi-Fi?
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I am at the
Yeah.
moment. Yeah,
Just double check you're
because
connected to the right thing.
I've had to come on Wi-Fi. There's no internet, so I think the internet's gone down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it happens in my area as well. A hell of a lot, to be honest with you. Oh, you're on. You mean you're on your 4G now, then, basically?
Yeah, 5G or
Okay.
what?
5G. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do people actually ever get 5G connections nowadays? Jesus, I don't know what's going on, because when 5G came out initially, everyone was saying how amazing it's going to be, and basically mine just jumps to Wi-Fi all the time anyway. So sorry guys, my co-host over here is just having a couple of technical issues.
As always. Right. Am I in the middle?
You are in the middle.
Because I think
yeah, you're in the middle.
there, I'm done. Where was we? Yes.
We're talking about pros and cons. We've got Chloe in here at the minute, and she's talking about she's a single mum, and her last comment is, I was with someone recently, ended it as the relationship didn't feel right anymore, sorry. But he had made a bond with my children, and I'm worried a lot about how they would react. So that's a very difficult thing that we spoke about, bringing, there's no guarantee that any relationship's gonna work. So you're inviting
And
people
there isn't a right time to do it either. I don't think there's a right time to bring anybody into your children's life. And I genuinely I feel for Chloe on this one, because it's so hard. I actually know Chloe, so I know her situation. So it's not just one, there's two, and it's really difficult. But at the time, you actually feel like it's right, and and it's so dangerous because your children do start to bond. And one of the things that you and I have always discussed is children do need a dad. They do. I mean, what have we always said? That, you know, like the statistics show that it's usually single parent children that are poking people with and ending up in prison and things like that. Children do need a dad, but when is the right time to do it? And the risk.
Yeah, and then obviously as well, there's the discipline side of stuff as well. If you can't discipline the child, how long before a man? How long would you, like, you know, you are a single mum. How long would you accept a man to discipline your child or take that sort of responsibility before you, like, how long before?
I think it's always going to sting me.
Yeah.
It's always going to sting me. You say anything to my child, and I'm gonna. Do you get what I mean? I have a personal situation which, by anybody that shouts at my children now, I don't know whether I'd be able to cope. But like you say, the discipline side of it, I think if it was the right man and you know that their intentions are good, it would be totally different. So if you're feeling secure enough with that relationship that he's steering you in the right, you know that he's only got good intentions toward your children. And I think that is what you've got to feel. And I think that may be the right time to introduce anybody to your children when you feel. But as we know, there are wrong uns out there that will use that. They will groom you and then groom the children. So this is the big thing. And
I mean,
like
the fact
said,
that that's in that handbook that you talk about, that it tells you if you want to groom children that you should go for single mums. Like, you know, Jesus, I mean, that's scary. I mean, now we have people adopting children so they can have their wicked way with them, you know. So
exactly. You know, you hear these stories about, I mean, you and I have covered one, and it's heartbreaking that these children that were up for adoption, so already they don't feel love, and then they are adopted, and it was by a gay couple, wasn't it? And they were then passed around and abused, and to sort of grow up thinking that this is love. This is when, like you say, the death penalty should come in for these people. People like Ian Watkins, people like these two. I mean, Ian Watkins was using his fame to do it, wasn't he? He was grooming fans, telling them that he wanted to be their boyfriend or girlfriend to get to their children, and then the girls were bringing their children. They were actually bringing their children to him to be abused. That's even worse. That. I mean, I think all involved there should have been ended, and thank whoever they were that they have ended him now.
Yes.
Because that man, you and I have said, he's, you know, you and I have always said, and you and I are a big thing.
Your connection. Sorry, Kitty. Do you
in
reckon
the
your connection be better on TikTok?
on
Do you reckon your connection will be better on a TikTok live, because you're breaking up really bad now?
that if you
That bad? She can't even hear me.
but
All right, I'm
a child,
just. All right. I'm gonna have to boot you. I'm gonna have to boot you. I'm gonna have to give it a boot because the connection is too bad. Just give me a. I booted her. Kick speaker. Yes, kick speaker. Sorry about that, guys. The connection was too bad. I'll tell us to join on TikTok. Can you join through TikTok? Too bad. All right, I'm gonna get her on TikTok, guys. I'm gonna get her on TikTok, guys. Just bear with me. But yeah, we was having a good conversation there, and I didn't want it to get spoiled. But yeah, man. Honestly, we all can't live in an ideal world where where you can just find the perfect person and settle down with them. Relationships end for all types of reasons. Tough one, man. Real tough one. So we've got a couple of videos over here going to react to. Which one's this one?
Oh, look at Daddy.
He's not my dad, Mom.
Ava.
My dad is in jail and I miss him.
Well, how
And although this may be a skit, you that is kind of the reality of the situation. That is kind of the reality of the situation. Like, you do things like, stepdads have come on and they've said to me, like, just people I know in life and stuff have spoke to me and said to me, look, yeah, I've been there for them. I've been there for the woman. I've been there for the kids 2-3 years. I never feel accepted. I'm always getting that thrown in my face. You're not my real dad. So that is kind of like what is going on out there at the minute. And, yeah, it's just difficult, man. You guys help me out, man. Jesus, man, what's the answer? Because there's just a lot of wrong uns out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wrong uns out there, and I don't know what the answer would be, boy. I'm trying to. Okay. So my co-host is trying to rejoin through TikTok, but she's having a problem with her connection. We have this discussion at the beginning, as both of our children I had are from have been intentional. Discussion at the beginning. Is that with a stepdad? I'm assuming. Because people are saying stepdad. Sometimes, like, I know sometimes parents argue, even biological parents argue, like, if discipline is being dished out and the one parent feels like it's too much. Normally, the mum feels like the dad's gone too far. So there's that dynamic on its own. Let alone, like, no actual sort of how long's an ideal time before you actually introduce someone? Like, what is an ideal time for a woman to introduce a man to her kids? And is it right? I suppose that's what kind of I don't know. Obviously, I know people have got to move on. Women and men both got to move on, but it's just a real tricky one, man. It's a real tricky one, and there's no real easy answers, boy. But just listening to all the stats and stuff about when the risk to children when stepdads move in, yeah, each person their own decision, yeah, for sure. For sure, there's no right or wrong answer. Like, no one knows what relationships are gonna stay good. Like, but yeah, it's just you hear these horror stories and you just think to yourself, wow. There's a lot out there as well at the minute where people are saying, wait, let me just make sure I got it right.
If a woman has had a child with one man, she is finished. She will only have more children if she has it by that same man. Don't you ever become a stepfather. Don't you ever put your seed in a woman who has already been planted in. It creates a disgusting, dysfunctional situation.
And that's kind of what you have. That's kind of what you have from the sort of male atmosphere on social media at the minute. Big no to date women with kids because of, like, bonds that they've already got. Like, then you have to worry about cheating with the biological dad as well. Couldn't be with someone. Hey, the Duchess is here finally. No, it happens normally. It happens to me in the same like the same sort of time. It happens to me, to be honest with you. So don't stress about it. But yeah, okay. Yep. Hmm. Yeah, I was just saying, and someone was just saying that there's no ideal time either. Sort of, it's when it feels right to you, I suppose. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What book is it you're talking about again? Because I know, is it oh, so it's a groomer's, there's a groomer's handbook out there, and it tells men how to groom children, basically. Mm. Yeah, yeah. I'll send you. I'll get her to message. N Kiki. I will Vixen. Vivian. I will get her to message me privately, and then I will send it to you later on because she wants to know the name of the book. Uh, ki- ki- f- mm, yeah, yeah. Mm.
He said he got all these images and they found it on his thing and they said why, and he says because it was for research. Now it is genuinely, I would love to know what it is it's saying, what as parents we need to
Is
flag
it
off.
is the title literally as blatant as you say? How to groom
No,
a? No, it's not.
no,
No, so it wouldn't be. So no. Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting you on the I'm just getting you on the old other platforms just so I can get your audio
no.
up there.
I'm not entirely sure of the name. I know it exists. It's one of those things that is talked about. I know it's definitely on the dark web, and at some point,
Mm,
I think if you Google it, you'll see that
mm,
Amazon had to take it
yeah.
off.
Yeah. Um, there's quite a few. Okay, so this might sound really unsensitive, guys, and forgive me if it does sound unsensitive. I just want to put it out there because this is what people are saying. So people a lot of what people are saying in terms of like men in terms of dating women that have kids, they're saying they're doing it because they're normally men of lower standard. Like they wouldn't be the natural a woman's natural choice. This kind of man that would date a woman with kids. What would you say to that?
I would say that's I can see their point, right? Because there are some women that will run back to the good guy, you know, like when they've had those bad boys.
Exactly that. Exactly that. What you just said.
You know, there are those girls that'll go, do you know what? He treated me really well, and he's going to be an amazing father for my children and a great role model and blah blah blah. Because that thing isn't worth
Yep.
whatever. So I do understand those women, but now for me, I don't. How do I put this? It is part of the deal. Do you get what I mean? You have to be a pretty decent, wonderful guy, and it's not because I've lowered my standards. It's because you have to be of a certain level now to be around my children.
Mm,
So there's the argument that your game actually has to go up, and your standards actually have to go up
mm,
because these guys are going to be around your children, and if you are a parent that loves their children, which most of us are now, you know that is the standard, I'm afraid.
yeah. What are the benefits to a man dating a woman with children?
I don't think there is any.
that's that's quite blunt and honest.
I can't be as honest. Do you know one of them things? I don't think there is. I think it's hard work, and for any man that is going to do it or is going through it, I salute you. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
because
And I will throw it the other way as well. Any woman going with it's a little bit easier with a guy, but a woman that's going into a relationship with a guy with children, you are always going to be that. Not you're not my mum, you're not my dad, and that is. I think that's hard. I don't think there are any cons. I'll be quite honest with you. If somebody can come up with a con and
a pro to being a stepdad.
sorry.
I would say there are men out there that let's just be honest. If a woman's got kids, she kind of knows that maybe she's not at her peak in terms of as the full package, so she might be willing to accept something a bit less. And there are men out there that might get an opportunity of a woman that's beautiful, but she's got a couple of kids, or she's got one kid, and they know they would never really have a chance if both was in their prime together, sort of thing. But there's that opportunity, and then also there's men out there that could never have kids for whatever reason, and might want that sort of thing to be part of a family. Because I've heard there's loads of stories of really good stepdads that have stepped up and just sort of stepped up and just sort of been a man and been the right man for the kids. But then again, in this day and age with relationships, it's hard, isn't it? Like because no relationship's guaranteed.
No, no, and this is where, as a parent, you have to be very careful about doing it too soon. I don't know what is too soon and what isn't.
Yeah.
What if there's anybody out there that would tell me what is too soon? What is the right time to introduce a step parent? And that's what they're going to be. They're not going to be a step parent. You're not going to walk into the door, hi, this is dad. But you know what I'm saying? How do you do it? How
I mean, I think what happens normally, if the person's young and doesn't even really apply in this day and age, because women are living their best lives no matter what age they are nowadays. But if a person's young, and so like a person's like in their 20s or something, and they've got a kid already, or maybe two kids already, and they are still part of the party nightlife, and they're meeting men every other, meeting men for a night out or something, and coming back to their house and stuff like that. I think that's probably, even though that might be a really good way of meeting a guy, but I think it's more likely that you're going to get a one night stand from that guy rather than that. But and there are men out there that don't tell the truth. Men out there playing the serious, like men are. Let's just be honest with you. Men are really in a bad spot at the minute. They're really lonely. Suicides are going up like mad. The cost of living. Men aren't feeling like real men because the women out there are going with the other kind of guys that have got all the money, and then they end up coming back to the guys because they're no good enough. They're not good enough for the guy with all the money. So
you say that, but I say they raise their standards.
Who raises their standards? The women.
Women, I've raised my standards because the guys that I used to go out with, I've made no secret of this, were dogs. They were absolute dogs, and they were bad people.
Yeah.
So now the guys that I look towards are good.
Why aren't women? Why are women letting go of that good guy that was good to them for that fun guy? Why are women doing that? Because that does seem to be a common occurrence nowadays. Like, women are letting go of that good guy. There was a guy at one point that adored them, loved them, treated them good, but they said, nah, not for me. You're not fun enough.
Social media. I would say that's social media. I would say it's that wanting what you see. You see the guy with the tattoos and the beard and the driving the fast cars, and he's got this beautiful woman on his arm. You want that. You want that whole aesthetic, and women usually want that. But then you see that they're no good. Most of them, like you say, have got like 2 or 3 women on the go. They've probably got wives already. They and then you realize. I think you realize what you had. You had an amazing man, and I think you say you lower your standards, but I say you raise them back up because you've lowered them to go with the guy that looks fabulous.
Yeah.
But you're raising them back up to go with this guy that is, again, the provider. What a man should be, really. This is what women need to realize. What a man really should be: a provider, a good father, a protector. These are the values that of the olden days. The caveman, he used to go out and
Let me have a look at this. No divorced man wants another financial vampire in his life.
Who said that?
Chris over Chris Cross, if his name is. So he's Chris, talk to me about that. Talk to me about that, Chris. No man wants another financial. No man wants a financial vampire. Is there a bit of experience there? Because we are talking about the pros and cons of being a stepdad, and then also the fact that there's the label of stepdads being weirdos and creeps and stuff like that as well to go with it. Some people will look at the toss up a coin and say maybe it might not be as beneficial as I think so. Women are providing for themselves, so no. So what else? Oh,
But I
100%.
stand I stand by the statistics that children need a father in their life. They need a dad. They need that stability. And if you've got a good man, he will step up and be that stability for your children. I know like loads of people that have all, like they've changed their name to their stepdad's names
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things like.
There's certainly successful cases for sure. I've heard them.
Yeah, there are those that have stepped up and have been this, I knew this girl that got married, and she got married with her real dad walking her down the aisle and the stepdad.
I saw that somewhere as well.
Yeah, and that to me is how it should work. I've always, my last relationship, there was children involved with that, and I always tried to step up, not to be a mother, but to be a friend, but somebody that they could come to if they needed, and I was always there, at the back pushing,
Yeah.
there's a balance. I think there's a balance to it. Not, you can't rush in and go, I'm your stepmom. Hi, right. This is how you do it. And I certainly never ever cross that line where I chastise them. I went to their father and I would say, look, this is not how you do it. This needs pulling up. It's not my place to do it. It's yours. If you don't want to do it, I just, put it up.
Yeah. One thing for sure, that obviously, there's a lot of lovely women out there, and there's a lot of lovely women out there that have got children, and they just want a loving partner. But it's just so difficult. Like, people aren't staying together now. And when you throw the stepdad dynamics into it, it's really difficult now. Like, it's just like. Just relationships are so difficult at the minute, and then you've got a guy that's gonna, like, a lot of men like Chris, think like Chris over here, think that women are just trying to find someone to play daddy rather than looking for a partner, and some women do take the pee and treat them like babysitters as well, and they're just like, yeah, you look after the kids while I want to go out and party and stuff like that. There's a lot of men dealing with that sort of stuff, but let's.
I think this is where I differ from other women, because no man. But then I've been burnt by it, haven't I? Because obviously I've had a situation where somebody took advantage of the fact that he was almost like my child's step parent, and he sort of hurt one of my children. So I've learned from that, and possibly why I look differently now at the men that will be around my children, and it's one of the things that I consider when I meet a man. It's not. Yeah. I do consider what they would bring to me, but it's a 50-50 when I look at them. I think, will they be somebody, do they want to be in my life forever? Do they want to, do I love them, blah, blah, blah. And what sort of role model are they to my children?
Yeah. And then there's the other dynamic of the crazy ex that still wants the mum back, and even though the mum's moved on, there's the crazy ex dynamics, where he's hanging around, being weird, trying to end the relationship, trying to cause division in it. And unfortunately, I saw a shocking video the other day on social media of a guy that went up, America obviously, went up to the wife, the ex-wife, and the husband, got a gun, went bang to the man, and then went bang to himself, and there's some crazy dynamics out there, unfortunately.
How selfish have you got to be though to do that?
There's a lot of men out. This is so common. There's a lot of, if I can't have you, no one can. There's a lot of men with that. But
I'm also taking the other dad away. So I'm not just taking me away. I'm taking the other dad away. So my child will never have another dad. That's how I've just seen that. My child doesn't deserve a dad. If you don't want to be in your child's life, or for some reason you can't be in your child's life, why would you take another? You know what?
Yes, I get what you mean. It's just, I mean, there's a lot of negativity towards single mums now. It's becoming really toxic. Really toxic, especially on social media. I think in a way it's probably because women are being empowered now if they are single mums. Oh, you're a boss woman, you can do whatever you want, you can get one, you can still live your best life, you can still do what you want to do. And I suppose it's kind of a way of dropping that, like hitting that woman and pegging her, like dropping her down a peg or two, like, you know, saying, no, wait a minute, you're a single mum, you can't be doing that. And some mums are more than happy just being devoted to their children and lifting their children up. But there's also some mums that, like, you know, that still need that man. No matter, you see it all the time. Like, you know, you just have to. You see a woman that just has man in the house after man because she just doesn't want to be alone, and that tends to come with a lot of problems. But
One of the a woman is strongest when she realizes that she doesn't need a man, she wants the man. And that's one of the biggest things. If you want a man, you want him because you love him and you want to be in a partnership. You don't need him. That's the difference. And it's one of the biggest lessons that I will tell any younger woman that I'm talking to. You don't need, you want. And learn the difference. Because needing, we can do this. Okay, yes, a child does need a father. Hopefully, you've got, I mean, I know there are a lot out there. You've got a dad that will step up at the weekends and, you know, go and see their children and birthdays, and you can co-parent. That is something you've got to work with. Don't be that woman that is, oh, he's got another woman now, he doesn't want to see you, and you know, those ones that take the kids away because he's moved on.
Yeah, that use the kids as a weapon. There's definitely that, like, you know, and that, I mean, yeah, I mean, they do say it, like, you know, the woman ultimately is the one that gets hurt by a split, because ultimately, you know, she ends up on her own with the kids. Even if the dad wants to be involved, like, you know, it is a sort of devalue, especially online on social media. See you later, Chris. I know what you mean about the sort of other types of podcast kind of guys that sort of do go into town on single mums, but that's definitely not my style. I tend to just sort of like listen and try to reason with people. But thanks for coming in, Chris. Anyway, you have a good one, buddy.
Yeah, I totally agree. There are those mums that will weaponize children, and it's the worst thing you can do. And I will say this again to all the women: you're only cutting your nose off to spite your face. Because let's face it, every mother needs a break.
Yeah.
And if there's no DV and there's no harm going to come to those children, you're only cutting your nose off to spite your face.
By leaving the dad. By breaking up a happy home, you mean? By breaking up the happy home.
Or, you know, removing those children because he's got a new relationship or whatever, and weaponizing those children. Weaponizing those children, if there is no, and I still wouldn't do it if they were DV, they just wouldn't get to see the child, you know, my child.
Yeah.
I wouldn't weaponize them. But to weaponize a child, you can only see them if she's not there, or you can only see them if you're not seeing somebody. To weaponize those children is the worst thing you can do, and it is detrimental to you more than anything. Because at the end of the day, you need a break. You are mom, you are dad, 7 days a week. Take the break that you deserve.
Yeah.
Let him have them overnight. Let him take them on holiday for a week. Go on holiday with your girls for a week. Please don't use your children as weapons, because they suffer as well. They miss daddy.
Yeah. Everyone, I think when a biological dad is removed from the house, I think everyone suffers. No matter what you say, everyone suffers, because now your kids are part of the stats. Like 50% is too much. 50%, like if the biological dad ain't in the house, your abuse levels go up by risks go up by 50%. That is one in one basically, you know, one in every one. Like, and that's too much. That should be enough of an indicator. But I get it. People just can't stay together. It kind of comes back to the old argument: were we better when women were? I'm not saying this, but it begs the question: were we better when women were a bit more, had their roles in the house, sort of thing? But they had their roles. They cook, they clean, they do their roles, and the men would go out and work, and the women would stay home and look after the kids and be a mum and stuff. It does beg the question. And some people will say that, you know, if you look at the stats, like, you know, they may.
AT does.
Sorry.
AT does. That's his argument, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot. It's an argument that a lot of people use, isn't it? That sort of thing.
Yeah. I agree in a way. you know, I would love to have been that parent that could have stayed at home and looked after her children while he went to work and I would have had his dinner, you know, on the table and whatever. But unfortunately, the way life is at the moment, every house more or less has to be a 2-income house.
Yeah, that as well.
You know, that has come into play, and you know, there are children now growing up with no parents because they are literally everybody's working.
TV's bringing the kids up nowadays. TV, iPads, laptops, they're bringing the kids up nowadays.
You know, AI is literally bringing your children up. You know, YouTube, how to they don't come to you and say, Mum, how do I change the chain on my bike? They YouTube it.
Yeah. All right, I think we've done the stepdad thing. We're going to move on to our final subject. It's a totally different subject. This one is bathroom gate. Bathroom gate is becoming a massive thing all over the gaff. We've got a video. I think you'll be able to hear it actually as well. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let's find where we're hiding.
Don't take Tylenol.
Nope, not that one. Not that one.
If a woman...
Not that one.
Oh, look.
Nope.
I've got tea.
Nope. All right, let me find it. 1 second. Here we go. Let's put you there. Put you there. And let's put you... One more video. Bathroom gate. This one. A lot of people are thinking, what the hell's bathroom gate? You shall see, guys. You shall see bathroom gate. Bathroom gate. We're just loading up, guys. Bear with me a second. And let's remove that banner. Boom. Oh. Oh, here we go.
Don't get in my face. Do not get in my face. Don't get in my face. Don't get in my face. Don't you see my daughter right here? She crazy or something? No. You need to go over there to the men. You need to go over there to the men.
Only here in Chicago.
You is a man. A whole grown man.
Wow. Over at the park.
For the last time, I'm not mad. I'm sorry. I don't know what. No. I'm not mad. You wish. On my worst days, baby. On my worst days.
Okay.
Good luck. Good luck.
If y'all have a problem with me
Good
using the
luck.
bathroom, y'all can
Good luck.
Hey, man, use another bathroom.
Excuse me?
Just use another bathroom. There's a child in there.
What? Men.
That's a child.
Just say what you... Huh?
That's a child in there. A little girl. Like, use the men's bathroom.
Okay. I'm a woman. What does it matter? What does it matter? Y'all need to mind your business. Y'all need to mind your business.
This world is coming to some type of, I don't know what
you about to learn a lesson.
You at a children's park, man. Chill.
What are you saying?
It's a kid park, man.
Yeah, do you even have any kids?
Yo, just use the other bathroom, man.
Y'all need to mind your business, first of all. Mind your business before y'all get included in some stuff you don't want to be included in.
No, you need to go. You need to go. Seriously.
No, you're not.
My daughter has to go to the bathroom. I'm not.
Just bear with me a second. Let me find you. There we go. Yes, bathroom gate. People using different bathrooms. I don't know. How do you feel about this one, Kitty? Bathroom gate.
This is the prime example. I go on and on and on and on and on about this. That, you know, that men shouldn't be in women's bathrooms. And when I say trans women, sorry, I am talking about this person. This is the person. This is Bob from accounts with a wig on and a frock, right?
And a beard.
Well, like I say, beard. And it looks like Diana Ross with a beard. I'm sorry. And what was those socks and sandals? We can come back to that anyway. But this is what makes it really bad for the trans community. And I will, you know, I have a lot of friends that are trans. They have gone through transition. And
don't give me that. My best friend's trans business.
Every time. But no, you know, I am a big supporter of the trans community, and I've told you time and time again, if a trans person came up to me and said, would you come into the bathroom with me? I'd be the first to go, yes, come on, let's go. But I would also make sure that there's no children there. This man was at a playground. fully bearded up with a wig and a frock on, expecting to go into the children's bathroom with a young girl as well. You're not telling. No. There would have been hands thrown. I'm sorry.
What when you? I mean, is it the fact because I don't know what because the trans community is divided as well. Like there would be people from the trans community that will watch that and say, he identifies as a woman. He's a woman. He should be able to use that bathroom. There will be people from the community that say that's you're not trying to try be a woman. If you're trying to try be a woman, you're going to try and fit in a bit more. You're going to be going through the you're going to be groomed, you're going to be makeup, you're going to be actually looking like a woman because the ones that actually are passable and the ones that are actually trying to look like a woman, some of them, God bless them, even if they wanted to try, they couldn't because, but, and that might be a case of that. But, the beard thing is kind of to have a big old beard and say you're a woman. Maybe some people might have a problem with that side of it. And is it just and Donald Trump Piers Morgan and me personally contribute a massive part of Donald Trump getting into power due to the sort of craziness that just went crazy and bonkers where, people were fighting women and stuff and I think it got too. There was a lot of secret voters that had secretly had enough that won't say the things that they want to say because they don't want to be cancelled. And people were getting cancelled. People were getting sent to prison. I mean, I'm all for people living and letting live and trying to live their best life, but that one just feels a little bit off for me. I don't know why.
You and I share a lot of videos. We're back and forth with videos when we spot things, and you've sent me a couple, and I've sent you a couple where there are trans people that are so far away from the aesthetic, and I'm talking about, like you say, like this one with his beard. He can shave. Do you know if he'd have shaved, there'd have probably been no argument.
I think if people can see when you're trying, for sure, you can see when people are trying, and you can see when someone's just put a wig on and said I'm a woman, and that is very.
And off you go, and it's both from accounts, and I'm not having it. And that girl was 14, 15. She looked a teenager. That is what I would say, ripe for the picking of a wrong un. Somebody that's... So that woman...
we have to think like that in this day and age because bad things are happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's it. And I will say this, and I've said this before, trans women haven't been women long enough to know how dangerous and how fearful it is to be a woman. To be in a bathroom on your own and all of a sudden you hear a door creak, or you come out and there's something or you've got a period and there's blood everywhere and you don't know. You've not been a woman long enough. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but you haven't. You've not been in our situation. And we've been brought up from such an early age. You don't let this, you don't do this, you don't do that. We've had it ingrained into our brain that, if a man walks into a bathroom, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
That we know somebody that these things have happened to. So, it's... No. If you're going to do that, there are disabled toilets. Go to the disabled toilets.
Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna just have to. It's gonna have to just go to that stage.
Gender fluid. It's going to have to
gender fluid is still sort of. Some women are uncomfortable with that because obviously there's still men in the toilets with them. Some women are upset with that, even though it's a cubicle. You're still going in a room with men in there.
Yeah, but the difference here is you've got a door you can lock. To anybody that says that, I've never had a problem with that. Because if you live at home, right, you're living with men and women. You're sharing a bathroom most of the time, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you are sharing a bathroom. So that shouldn't be an issue. You lock